Please welcome Senator John Unger, Democrat, Berkeley County. John, morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Hoppy. Doing well. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you so much. So, give me a way forward. Give me a deal. Give me a compromise. Give me something that we can all work with to get a budget. Assuming the governor's going to veto the one that he has in front of him, or line item veto it.
Well, of course, the first thing constitutionally we are required to have a balanced budget.
Right.
And a balanced budget is your income or your revenues equal your expenditures or expenses. I mean, that's basically it. When you end up expending more or spending more than what you bring in, that's a deficit, and that's what we have. I mean, plugging it with a rainy day fund is not a balanced budget. That's not a balanced budget. So we got to come to terms that constitutionally we're
hang on. Let me interrupt you. Let me interrupt you. Because why would that mean the 2017 budget is not balanced?
Well, simply because it's using one-time money, and it's using the rainy day fund to plug it, and therefore your income or your revenues are not equaling your expenditures or costs. And so, I mean, anybody with their household, if you Hoppy, in your own household, your income comes in, you have a certain amount of expenses. If you continue to go to your savings account to try to plug it, that's not a balanced budget.
I didn't say continue. I'm saying I understand. I'm not debating the point that if you continue to go to rainy day in 2018, 2019, pretty soon the money would be gone, the budget would not be balanced. I get that. But I'm saying for the 2017 budget, you can, in fact, if you just look at the 2017 budget, you can, in fact, take the rainy day money and balance it. It's not the best option at all, but you could do it.
That's according to all financial investors and everybody. They look at that and they'll say that's not a balance.
Well, does that mean you shouldn't take any money? Does that mean for 2017 you shouldn't take any money from rainy day?
You shouldn't. No, I don't think you should take any. You need to have.
You've done it in the past.
Budget. We have done it. We have done it at the end of the year when we were a revenue shortfall. That's what it says. Revenue shortfall means that at the end of the year, before a new budget comes in, we have to go in there and take that money in order to plug it. But we don't start off with it. I mean, So I mean, first of all, regardless if we did it in the past or not, two wrongs don't make it right. Constitutionally, we got to agree to balance the budget.
So, okay? do you want $270 million in new taxes?
No. I mean, you either have to increase your revenues, or you got to cut your expenses, but it has to be balanced. So you're asking me how to go forward. First of all, we got to come to terms to have a balanced budget. Secondly, the Speaker of the House and the President of the Senate have to get together and have a plan. First of all, Hoppy, nothing comes on those respective floors of the legislature without their approval. Nothing. Now, the President of the Senate controls the entire agenda of the Senate, and the Speaker of the House, the entire agenda of the House. So they have to say, here's our plan, here's what we're going to allow to come to the floor, and here's what we're going to vote for. And not hide behind this, we'll let it come, but we won't vote on it. We won't vote for it.
Well, hang on a second. The cigarette tax increase passed the Senate a couple of times. It went to the House. It failed the first time. It failed in committee because Democrats wouldn't get behind it, or Republicans. And then when it finally got to the floor in the special session, 43 Republicans voted for it and only one Democrat voted for it. So an increase in the cigarette tax has gotten to the floor. It got rejected.
Let me ask you: Did the Speaker Armstead vote for the cigarette tax on the floor?
On the floor, I thought he did on the floor. Wasn't he one of the 43?
Well, I'm just saying that they control the agenda. So the idea of that is to make sure that they agree what's going to come to the floor up for a vote, and they ought to support it. They shouldn't hide behind this. Well, I'm going to, bring it to the floor, but I'm not going to vote for it. They're for it if they bring it to the floor. They control the agenda. They got to get a plan together to do that. They got to present the plan and execute the plan and communicate that to the members.
Okay,
the plan, respective bodies.
All right, so you're going to say the Republicans dropped the vote. Okay, fine. But they passed a budget that you think is unconstitutional. Okay, fine. And the governor is going to veto that. So we know that too. He's going to veto all or part of it. So now, isn't it back on the governor to get a plan that is, in your opinion, constitutionally sound, and then whip Democrat votes for it?
No, I think the governor has presented a constitutionally balanced budget. And the fact of the matter is, I think that at that point, the legislative leadership needs to then come up with their alternative plan or tweak the proposal that the governor presented and then execute it and communicate to the members, this is how we're going to proceed, this is how we're going to move forward, and we got to do it quickly because time's running out. I mean, the problem has been that in the legislature, there has been no plan. There's been criticisms of the governor's proposal, but there's not been anything presented by the leadership. And, of course, you do these Hail Mary things like, throwing the 1% or 1 cent tax out there for sales tax. Then you do the cigarette tax, and it's like throwing spaghetti up against the wall and seeing if it sticks.
Well,
you need to have a plan to say, here's what we're going to do, this is how we're going to have a balanced budget, and we need to do it, and we can do it quickly.
Senator John Unger is with us. Well, those were the governor's plans. I mean, the governor proposed, going into special session, the governor proposed a 45-cent, he said, here's some options, a 45-cent increase in the cigarette tax, a 1% increase in consumer sales tax, and removing the exemption on the sales tax exemption on telecom. So those were his plans.
Absolutely, and of course,
and you guys didn't vote for him, and the cigarette tax, you guys didn't vote for it in the Senate, and the Democrats didn't vote for it in the House.
Well, I mean, the idea that there was no plan that was presented by the legislative leadership of they disagreed with the governor, and that's fine. You have disagreements, but Hoppy, the problem comes down to the problem between the House and the Senate. It's not anything with the governor. I know they keep blaming the governor. But the House and the Senate's not getting together. They're not.
No, I know that.
The leadership's not there, and so we can pass all we want out of the Senate, but if it is not taken up in the House,
let me go back, John. To belabor the point. Let me go back to this. Did in 2014 to balance when the Democrats were in control in 2014? Did the Democrats not use $140 million from the rainy day fund to balance the budget?
I
believe they did. They did.
If they did, it was wrong.
Well, it was done.
It was
I mean,
well,
okay.
I know that was wrong too. Hoppy, look, any business out there, do you think of any type of business? Would you say, and you're in business, do you say that when you have to go to your reserve account that you have a balanced budget?
This is what I would say. This is what I would say.
Is no business says that.
No. This is what I would say. Is that we have a short-term, we have a financial problem, and we got to look at it in stages. Now, the first thing we got to do is meet payroll and pay our bills. How are we going to do that? Well, we can't increase sales right now. In fact, sales are off, so we've stockpiled a little money. We're going to take some of that money and use it now, but understand that we're quickly going to run out of that money, so we got to lay some people off. We got to cut expenses. I mean, that's what you do. That's what businesses do every day. But anyway.
Exactly.
So I'm asking you, presuming the governor vetoes this budget, what do we do? Give me a solution. Or what do you think the governor should do? What is politically acceptable to both of these bodies and the governor?
Well, the governor has to, of course, have his budget presented again and bring the legislature back and say, folks, we're going to try this one more time. We got to get it right because we got to get it before July 1st. I mean, Hoppy, a lot of the legislators, and this is what frustrates me with the legislature, is that a lot of legislators run off of the thing that we got waste, we got bloated government and everything else. I say cut. And the thing of it is, those folks that ran off of that, surely they know where it is after 2 years of being in charge. They can find out where the bloated government is, and let's cut. I know the governor's cut a lot out. If they're wanting to cut more areas, then we need to do that to get the balanced budget. Those things that they can't cut, then we got to look at revenue sources. Or finding a revenue source in order to offset it, so we have a balance.
I agree. I agree. For all the talk about the waste, fraud, and abuse, the cuts the cuts that the Republican leadership came up with were minimal compared with the talk about all the waste, fraud, and abuse. I think you are correct on that. But let's go to this, and I think there are other cuts that can be made, but they're going to have to sort that out at some point. But let's go now to what to do.
Okay, and Hoppy, the one other thing that needs to be cleared up here, everybody talks about election year, and this is what frustrates me too. Privately, they'll go down there and then people will talk, and I hear this, oh, we can't vote for. I'm not going to vote for a tax increase now, but after November I will, and that goes all the way up to the top of the leadership chain, including President of the Senate. I can't vote for a tax increase now. I can do it after the election. Everybody's posturing. I mean, it seems like there's a lot of posturing for the political. We can't be politicians here. We got to be statespeople.
Well, I would.
We got to do. We got to make the tough.
I would agree. I would agree with that. But I do want to get this on the record because, not to belabor this point, John, and we've known each other a long time. But I believe in 2014, on the budget that was balanced with $147 million from Rainy Day Fund, that you supported that. I know you're going to say two wrongs don't make a right, but you supported that then. You supported that then.
I haven't. I got to go back and look. But if I did, I was wrong.
All right.
And the fact of the matter is, we need to start out with a balanced budget, and particularly in the sense that next year it's even going to be worse.
Well, John, give me an amount, give me a revenue, give me a tax increase, because I do believe that you need some new revenue. Give me a revenue, give me a tax increase that can get past the governor, the Senate, and the House with some bipartisan support.
Well, I'll tell you what I supported during the session, okay? I supported a $1 cigarette tax increase that went to fully fund PEIA. Went to fully fund it, not partially funded, fully fund PEIA. I also supported a 1 cent sales tax that went to our roads. The money goes to the roads. See, I don't trust the government in the sense of just passing it and saying, oh, it'll be used for this. I want it in the specific bill, what it's going to be used for, and you take those things off the table. You got them fully funded, and then you can look at the other services and say, how do you fund those services? Would
you back a 65-cent increase in the cigarette tax, which would probably raise about $100 million, and might be the compromise point with the governor? If the governor could try to get 65 cents through the House, 65 cents through the Senate, and go higher on rainy day, could you, if that was the plan, that the governor comes out with 65 cents, could you get behind that?
I would if they give a guarantee that it's going to fully fund PEIA.
Well, now we got to get into define fully fund PEIA. I mean, if the state puts more money into PEIA, then because of the 80-20 split, the employee cost is going to go up a little bit as well. Not much, but it's going to go up.
That doesn't have to happen. I mean, with that 80-20 rule is in the legislature. You can always bypass that, put the money in there so you don't have those premium. Yes, you can. I mean, you do it all the time. Notwithstanding a certain provision of code, you put the money in so that those retirees don't have to have those drastic premiums.
Well, they wouldn't. I understand.
And also the employees. Look, I would support a cigarette tax if it goes fully funding PEIA, and if after PEIA is fully funded, if other money's left over for other parts of it, like the promise, that's important too. I want to see the money go towards specific programs and initiatives that are important to the people of West Virginia.
All right, Senator.
But I'm not going to just support a tax in general, just throwing spaghetti up against the wall.
Well, I don't think it's spaghetti. I mean, you can. Okay, that the PI is. I don't have time to get into all that, but I wish we could. I'll have you back because it's going to be going on for a while. Senator John Unger, real quick. What about the Feed the Kids thing you doing over there?
Yeah, we started that yesterday, and school's out. It's an intergenerational. It's senior citizens, and children come together for over the summer for meals, activities, and so forth, just to keep the younger generation and our senior citizens active over the summer. So we started that in Jefferson County. We've been recognized by the U.S. Department of Agriculture as a model program to replicate it all across the country, and we're very, very proud of that, and we just started that yesterday.
All right, very good. Senator John Unger, always good to talk to you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.